Thank you for meeting with me.
Thank you
I
for
really
having me.
appreciate it,
Thank you.
man.
Thank you.
So, first off, tell people who you are and what you do.
My name is Hunter Stokes. I'm the farmer and owner of Midwest Fresh Farms, a little microgreen farm that I grow microgreens in an indoor greenhouse 365 days a year, sell them to restaurants, farmers markets, and do a little bit of home deliveries too. So
Awesome. What's a microgreen?
microgreens are just the adolescent version of the fully grown vegetables, and they're packed with up to 40 times the nutrient density that the fully grown vegetable has. So they're just really, really good for you, packed with nutrients, vitamins, antioxidants, everything from protein, magnesium, iron, all the good things that your body needs.
Mm.
And I grow them indoors, so they're never sprayed with anything. They're organic. Yeah, and they grow in most grow in 10 to 14 days. So they're a crop that I grow every single week. I harvest 52 times a year. So yeah.
Yeah. That was the first thing that I noticed was one, what's a microgreen, and two, it was like no spray, no chemicals or any of that. But like, what makes a microgreen a microgreen?
Sure. Well, there's hundreds of different varieties, and microgreen seeds are specifically tested for their high germination rate, meaning that they have a 90% germination rate. That means 90% of the seeds that I put down in a tray, they're going to come up and sprout and germinate. So, unlike other seeds, they may have less of a germination rate, and microgreens are meant to be seeded really densely, and you can grow them in these 10 by 20 trays is what I do, or you can have custom trays, all that types of stuff.
Awesome.
But
Thank you.
they
Shout out Pat and friends.
they grow super quickly, and so that's kind of the allure is they grow really quickly and they're really good for you. So you harvest them, put them on literally anything from tacos, burgers, salads, pastas, you name it. They're really tasty, and they have a very similar taste to their fully grown counterpart. So say I'm growing cantaloupe microgreens, they truly do taste like a cantaloupe or almost like a sweet cucumber. And
Wait,
and you're just eating the green part, you're not eating the fruit.
okay, so fruit can have microgreens. I thought it would just be like
Yeah,
vegetables.
it's mostly vegetables. I think melon and cantaloupe is the only fruit that I grow and that I know of that is a microgreen, but
That's wild.
microgreens are everything from celery, lettuce. I grow radish, sweet peas, sunflowers, broccoli, kale, cabbage. So it's mostly vegetables. It's pretty much anything outside of the nightshade family, which is like tomatoes and stuff like that, because tomato their greens and their leaves are poisonous, so you obviously don't want to consume them. So
So how poisonous? Like, do they make you sick? Like, tell me more if you know about
I
this.
don't I don't I think they would, yeah, just make you sick. I think your body would reject them and you would throw it up.
Yeah,
I don't think you would die from them, but like you're not supposed to eat the tomato leaves or anything like that. You're just supposed to eat the tomato
yeah.
plant.
Because I've been
The,
saying that
the
to my
tomatoes,
mom for my life.
really.
If I eat a tomato, I might die. Like, I'm just not a tomato fan at all.
Really, right?
But so microgreens, that's such a niche like food area.
Yeah.
How do you get into that?
Yeah, definitely. They're not quite mainstream yet. They're not superly widely known, but the way I got into it was weirdly enough, social media. Honestly, during 2020, the start of the pandemic, I was scrolling Facebook and I just saw one of my followers started his own microgreen business, and he was teaching people how to grow their own microgreens. And I've been in the restaurant community for, I've been working in the back of house, front of house. I've done pretty much every job there is to a restaurant, GM, all that stuff. So it was really alluring to me, and I like treating my body right and eating healthy. Like I try to stay away from junk food and fast food and stuff like that. And this was something that I learned that you could grow indoors in a small area, and you can start a business. So I've been researching it for the last 6 years now. I just started about a year and a couple months ago, and it's a business that I could start small and then scale up as I grew. So,
Mhm.
I just started with one 6 foot wire rack and a couple trays and some seeds and some dirt. And then as I grew, gathered more clients and knew that I was going to go to farmers markets and stuff like that, I started scaling it up a little bit. But it's still just myself and my fiance, who is my unpaid assistant.
Oh,
So
shout out. And
shout out Taylor.
so, what made you get into this?
Well, I'd been bartending for nearly a decade, and I wanted to get out of the restaurant business, and I wanted to still use some of my chef connections and stuff like that. I know a ton of people around the corridor. And ultimately, I wanted to give back to my community in a way that they can consume, microgreens, my product, and improve their livelihoods. Like these things literally have cancer fighting properties. They have so much beneficial to them that it was a no brainer to me. I was like, if I can do it, I'm just gonna try it. If it fails, it fails. But like it was a leap of faith, but I don't regret it at all.
So I'm imagining you have this idea to like, oh, I should like sell my microgreens without the move. And then how did you start? Like, what was the move from thinking about it to your first
For sure.
customer?
For sure. Honestly, while I was bartending for the 6 months before I left my position, I was talking to my, my
Yep.
patrons and stuff like that. And it was really cool to see their reactions and how many people that were interested in it. Most of the people had never heard of them. So a lot of my job was educating people on what they are and how beneficial they are for you and just how available they are, honestly, because they're sold in Costco's, our Costco here in Coralville, IV, New Pioneer Co-op. So there's really only one other guy here locally doing it in Kelowna,
Hmm.
and he provides like the IVs and the New Pie Co-ops, but he wasn't at the farmers markets and he wasn't going to like the health and body fitness centers and
Yep.
interacting with those people. So I just saw an opportunity for me to start it up from nothing and work my butt off and shake some hands and ultimately make it a profitable business.
Yeah. From the idea of having it to your first check, how long was that?
Ooh, probably almost a year. I would say 8 months.
Okay.
Like even like when I first started, I mean, like I would sell it to my family and friends, and like
Smart. Yep.
I would make like $60 a week, like literally nothing. But I started with 4 trays, so I just wanted to get down how to grow them because I've made almost every mistake that you can make, and they're very resilient plants, and you're seeding hundreds of plants on a tray, so like unlike an onion farmer that has one harvest every summer or whatever,
Yep.
I grow every single week. So that's beneficial. I can learn from my mistakes really quickly and then I can fix it, whether it's underwatering, overwatering, etc.
Hmm.
But honestly, what really made me think that it was possible is this guy who lives in Minnesota who I bought the seeds, the trays, and like a he basically taught me a little class. Like
Okay.
he
Yeah.
sent me videos on like
Okay.
step by step how to grow it. And then his wife set me up with like a Canva
Okay.
tutorial. So like how to advertise the business and stuff like that. So I have some really pretty professional like pamphlets of like what is a microgreen, the nutritional value, literally everything from vitamin A, B, C, exactly what is in broccoli, kale, etc. So that really gave me courage to do it. Like I wasn't doing it all on my own type of thing.
Yeah.
I mean, once I paid for that thing, I kind of, I haven't talked to them since. I've just been
Oh
kind
yeah.
of figuring it out on my own, but it's really been beneficial to learn not just the growing side, but like the marketing side and
Oh
like
yeah.
because that's half of the battle is getting
Yep.
my name out there and letting chefs know that I have a good product. I deliver it at its peak freshness, literally
Mm.
either the day of harvest or a day later, so that they know like their shelf life is more than 5 days.
Mhm.
Because a lot of restaurants, they don't even mess around with microgreens because they get them off a truck and it lasts a couple days and then they wilt and they go bad. But I've gotten feedback just as recently as last week that, my mixes are lasting multiple weeks instead of,
Oh, yeah,
five
just
days or,
few days.
yeah, yeah. So like I own my distribution channel. So like, I'm the one delivering it to them. If they have a weekly order with me, I don't even charge delivery fees. So it felt like a good symbiotic relationship that I can have
Mhm.
with my community, whether it be farmers markets, chefs, or home deliveries, like people that are really already spending money on their health and their bodies, they want to be the best versions of themselves. They want to live as long as they can, they want to provide for their families and watch their children grow up. And this is a really good way to invest in organic produce that, is
Yeah.
gonna help them out.
And why do you wanna give people good food?
I mean, I've just recently been doing a ton of research on the way that our food is being produced and the way that just like everything is controlled by a few corporations. And
Mhm.
it's the local farmer is dying out. And I wanted to be one of the younger generations that is passionate about this and willing to educate and provide for, if not our entire country, at least start small. And
Yep. Yeah, start where you are
yeah,
is
yeah.
something I think about.
I've always had like a I want to change the world type of
Yeah.
attitude. Like I truly believe that if you put your mind to doing good and putting good out into the world, that it's the right thing to do. And so much of our society is based on profit over,
Mhm. Yep.
actual value. I want it to be part of the change. And this is just like, I'm not raising animals or, like I don't have a massive garden or anything like that. Like,
Yeah.
right. Absolutely. We're just starting the garden in the backyard. We just made a raised bed. So that's really cool. I'm, we're really proud of that. And, growing our own food, starting small. And then, yeah,
And owning your own business and doing your own thing, how do you deal with like the stress and the pressure?
honestly, I rely on my partner, Taylor, a
Mm.
ton, a ton. She helps me mentally, physically, emotionally. But I come from a family. My stepdad owns his own construction business, and he's very successful in that.
Mhm.
So like, not to say that he's like taught me any of the ins and outs of owning a business, but I did work for him for a few
Yeah, yeah, I've
years.
seen it.
Yeah,
You
yeah.
so I'm like, okay.
My one of my first jobs was roofing
Mhm.
houses, and like it was one of my best friend's dad and his buddy that like owned their own construction company. Like I just saw that like it's not as intimidating as it seems, and it's very doable. You just got to do it.
Mhm.
Like
Yep.
the stress, it's something that I welcome, and honestly, it helps me navigate every other part of my life. Like I used to be stressed out about meeting new people, or like
Yeah.
ironically, I was a bartender, but I didn't like to converse that, like
Yep.
I had my friends and I knew what to say around them,
Yeah.
but then I would second guess everything else in my life because I didn't graduate from college, like
Uh-huh.
all those things that society puts on you as normal. Like, my dad definitely pushed me to do school and
Mhm.
stuff like that. And it just wasn't for me. When didn't, it wasn't successful at that. I was like, man, am I going to be successful in anything else? And once I got really good in the restaurant business and like I knew my patrons appreciated the effort that I put into like just making their night better, like
Oh, yeah.
it's nothing super serious. Like if I made a mistake,
No,
like
I'm about to like now a day like when I go out to eat
mhm,
and you get a good server, it's a big deal.
a hundred
Like
percent.
not I'm not gonna do the whole. like service had gone downhill, whatever. But me and Katrina were in Chicago for our anniversary, and we went to like a nicer like Italian place.
Love it.
And when you get good service, it's amazing.
It just
It makes the whole thing just like that.
elevates
That's
it.
why you go out to dinner. And I'm realizing it's like I want to go out and have someone like talk about the menu and recommend wine and shit. And
Exactly.
it was so nice.
It just it makes you realize that they care about their craft, and
Yep.
they're not just there for a paycheck. Like,
Mm-hmm.
I started at a sports bar,
Mm-hmm.
like in the kitchen, and then went to B-Dubs, and I opened this Cheddar's here, and I
Oh
learned how
yeah.
to serve at Cheddar's, but I was terrible at it. Honestly, just because I was so shy and like, just didn't believe in myself. But once I became more knowledgeable about the food, the drinks, the wine, everything that I was selling, I'm a pretty good people person, I'd like to think.
All right,
Like,
man. Check. That would have been sad.
you can't hear
Hey,
me.
take our picture.
Okay, I was like, I just want
Oh yeah, please.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Like,
please do.
but honestly, I've had some really good people that I've surrounded myself with. I've always been of the knowledge that if you surround yourself with people that are smarter than you, like,
Yep.
they're going to teach you a ton. And I am a sponge. I'm observing 24/7. I'm listening always. And, I'd like to shout out my one of my first managers and really good friends, Josh Urban. He taught me how to be social. He taught me how to bartend. We went out to Vegas and learned flair,
Oh shit.
like
Okay.
through bottles and shit. So
Yeah, that's great.
like, he just made it easier for me to come out of my shell and be the person that I can be, my full potential. And I've just taken that into every other aspect of my life, and it's it's worked out so far. So
What's your end game? Like everything, just like the best case, and then what's your next like 1 to 3 year move?
sure. The end game, love the reference. Is just to be more free, to go on vacations, to have money to spend on my children one day, or etc. So that means just growing the business enough that I can have employees, and then I can be the CEO. I can build this brand that is Midwest Fresh Farms into a household name, at least in the Midwest.
And it sounds like when I hear like Midwest Fresh Farm, I'm like, oh yeah, I see that in store. Like it just makes sense.
Right,
You know what
right.
I
I
mean?
tried to pick like a professional name, and yeah, that that took a while, but yeah, I love it. The next 1 to 3 years, honestly, just grinding exactly what I'm doing, getting more chef clientele, more chef connections, because those are my forever customers. Those are the
Yeah.
customers that want product every single week, and I know exactly what to grow. And like, so right now I've got a maybe 200 square foot, indoor greenhouse. The next step is getting like a warehouse
Yep.
where, you know, maybe $1,000 in rent, but I know that I can make that and profit because I'm selling to 40 restaurants. I'm providing to the co-op here.
Yep.
And then in the summer, we live in such an awesome community where people are very health focused, like,
Mhm.
we just had our first market at Iowa City last Saturday, and we damn near sold out. We did phenomenally. We were busy nearly the whole time, talking to people.
That's awesome.
I wasn't always just educating people on what microgreens were.
Yeah.
I had so many people that were like, "Oh, I love sunflowers. I love peas. Give me the sunny sampler." Like, they knew what they
Yep.
wanted, and that's really good to see, because like, I do a market in Washington, and it's a little more not as progressive,
Oh, yeah, that's
but
right.
like, they're just used to their normal full grown
Yeah.
vegetables, tomatoes, celery, radish, and all that stuff. So like, it's cool to see the community come around me and like have children come up to my booth with their hands out and be like, "Can I sample? Like, give me something new to try." And they love it, like, they eat it and they're like, "Pretty good," and they're like, Like, go tell your parents that you love it, and that you want
Yep.
some, and then sometimes that works, but ultimately they're not footing the bill. So,
Yeah.
but it's honestly, it's to educate our community too, that like, this is, in my opinion, the future of farming, indoor
Mhm.
farming and vertical farming, because you can grow food 365 days a year indoors. You don't need pesticides. You don't need herbicides. You don't need to spray them with any harsh chemicals because they grow so quickly. You feed them, you germinate them, you throw them under lights, and then you harvest them. It's not rocket science, but
And one thing that's cool is like microgreens is like marketing, as in it works with everything.
yes,
So you can have a deep dish pizza and throw some, and you like, you know what I mean?
throw some broccoli, throw some kale, throw some cabbage on it.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Have you done? I'm gonna go into business mode. Have you done like a recipe book?
Not yet. Not
Mm-hmm.
yet, but that's something that people are very
Mm-hmm.
interested in because that's one of the most asked questions is like, how do I use them just in
Mm-hmm.
salads and stuff? And it's like,
And then have you thought about like teaming up with like influencers, sending them some shit, be like, hey, make something, and then make a video about it?
yeah, yeah,
Yeah, and oh, sorry, and even like gyms, like, hey, like you need like more, like it's like protein and microgreens.
yeah. Sunflowers have protein. Not all microgreens have protein in them,
Yeah, but
but
even
they have
still,
they
like,
have tons of nutritional
yeah,
value.
because like for all like the gym
Yeah.
people, you'd be like, hey, we got like these microgreens two
Yep.
teams.
Yep.
There's wow.
I'm actually working with some gals at the Recenter right over
Oh
here
yeah, yeah,
and
yeah,
trying to get into their cooler, like just have
yep,
weekly
yeah.
little boxes. But I already have like the trainers that are hooked on, like I have a detox mix, which is incredibly good for your gut microbiome.
Detox mix, dude. Every
Broccoli,
Monday,
kale,
give me one of
cabbage.
those.
Exactly, right? I got you.
Oh yeah, cause
I got
like
you.
Monday through Friday, I'm dialing in, but Saturday, like let's go
Yes,
donuts,
yes.
ramen, coke, fuck it. And then Monday, like I do, like I hydrate. So having a detox thing would be amazing.
Yes, yes. And I'll give you all the nutritional facts and tell you XYZ why they're good for you,
Mm,
and yeah, that's one of my most popular mixes.
dude, that's
And that's like
awesome.
easier to market to people
Mhm.
that are, interested in that. Because yeah, everybody needs a cheat day or two.
Yeah.
And a lot of the food we buy is packed with ingredients that you can hardly name and, seed oils, etc. So you need some real organic whole foods to consume, and I'm your guy.
Have you done a podcast before?
No, nope. This is the first time I've ever really had anything to say on a podcast that
Mhm.
I wouldn't be interviewed for like anything else that I would.
Well, you say that, but that's not true. Like, what else are you into?
I really love sports, football, basketball, baseball. I love watching movies and TV. I'm a huge Marvel nerd.
Yep.
Not a comic nerd, but like I saw the first Iron Man and Incredible Hulk and all that stuff. And yeah, I think I'm pretty knowledgeable about that, but a lot of that is hearing other people talk about it and obviously observing the shows
Yeah,
and
and
stuff.
I say that because I think about brand a lot, and brand is mostly the thing a business owner is into, but doesn't talk about
Sure.
because it doesn't relate.
Right.
But I say that because the 98% of the reason why I messaged you is because you were wearing that Loki shirt.
Really.
Yeah, he was
Right.
wearing a Loki shirt, but it was like a deep cut one too. It was like, oh, like he like knows, yeah, see you.
Like this.
Yeah. So oh, he should like I don't know, message him.
Yeah.
And
Right.
so that's
Right.
why I reached out.
Yeah.
And
Commonalities and liked
yeah,
interests. Yeah.
yeah. And even like the first time we hung out, you were wearing Run the Jewel shirt. He's one of my favorite groups. And like knowing about what someone is into makes it so much easier just to like
Love music.
chat and talk.
Music is
Yeah,
my life for sure. Yeah. Yeah.
yeah.
Right. Like, yeah. Sorry, I didn't mention that. Yeah. No.
No, but we talked about like I made that look of like my friends, like I love music, like that's like my thing, and like we were talking about like Mac Miller, Run the Jewels, Kanye,
Lord.
Currency's Lord,
Tame Impala.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, Tame. which is like as you'll get done, like that's like my like main things.
Yeah.
And we probably wouldn't have gotten there through talking about like business stuff. You
No,
know what
for
I mean?
sure. Yeah, yeah.
Uh-huh.
And yeah, I I don't even know it. I don't know if I'm scared to incorporate like the other parts of my life into the business,
Mhm.
but I just I don't know like quite how, like at this so far at this point, I've made it just super like this is what I'm growing, these are the foods that I'm making, like this is
Yeah.
where I'll be. I'm just trying to market in a way that like to get my name out there and people to know where to find me.
Yep.
But if I connect with more people and share my personal interests, I
Mhm.
guarantee it would get more traction and more people
Yeah.
would connect with me.
And I'm not saying that like you doing anything like wrong or like you need to more,
Right.
but that's always a thing too. Because like I know I post like Eric Andre videos and like I post like what I think, and I know that turns some people off,
Sure.
but so some people are like, oh, like I want that.
Yeah.
So like the only thing I can do is double down on what I like and see who likes
Yeah. Yeah. And that just lets people know that you have a sense of humor,
it. Yeah,
like you don't
yeah,
take life too seriously because that's important in my opinion. Like it's not gonna be all sunshine and rainbows. So you gotta make each and every day a part of you and just a little bit better for yourself and everybody else around you. And I think you do an amazing job at that, like connecting your personal life to the business.
awesome, and thank you. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, and that's like a big reason why I started this. I've said this billion times. Like a lot of my friends are musicians or own a business or are an artist, but they don't like to create the content. Well, I'm like, well, what if I could create the content for them?
Yeah.
Oh, I could do a podcast and just get them to talk about their shit, and then just clip it up, and here
Right.
we are.
Right.
So yeah, yeah, it's just about like just trying to get people to be like, oh, like I am interesting, and stuff that I am into could be used as a business or a podcast or part of my brand, but they don't think that way because like they don't go on podcasts and stuff. You know what I mean?
Right. 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 They it's kind of like a mindset,
Yeah.
Sometimes they might be too locked into their craft,
Hmm.
or like a lot of local musicians, they play and they also have another job, like one of my best friends, he has to have another job, like he plays guitar, bass, he's amazing at it, but it doesn't pay the bills. So
Hmm.
like
Yeah.
his entire focus isn't around marketing the band
But
and stuff like
yeah,
that,
yeah,
so it's just it makes you think like we need each other to lean
yeah,
on and
yeah.
help us and create those connections and get your name out there.
Yep, exactly. Because it's like since we've been talking, I'm thinking of all like my friends I know who own a restaurant or like are involved in gyms or health and fitness or cooking. So it's just like, oh, like we can just keep on building with each other, and that's the move. Like that's what I like is just connecting people with other people, and it goes back to elementary school. I remember thinking, what if this friend met that friend, and then they met, and it became this electric like thing,
Yeah.
and I was like, oh, that could be life for forever for everything.
Yeah, that's beautiful. That's a beautiful way to live. I mean, everybody's different, but I think
Hmm.
everybody has more common ground than they even know, like
Hmm. Yeah.
whether you're left, right wing, like
Yeah.
I don't even know shit about politics, but you know, I just want people to be good people. And if I enjoy this person's company and this person's company, I definitely try to make them,
Yeah, right.
me and pretend, if they don't love each other, nothing hurt.
Yeah,
you
yeah,
know?
and to double down on that quick, it's like I don't know who you voted for. I'll never ask because I don't fucking
I've never voted for
care.
anybody in my life. We were just talking about jury duty. Taylor is like, you aren't even eligible because you've never voted, like
Yeah,
I don't even think about that stuff,
I
but
don't like what I have to do with who is the person who you voted
no,
for.
no. If you knew my core values, and I would like to think that you would
Yeah, just like
appreciate me as a human being, like I just want good for this world. You know, I try not to get into politics at all, but like my idealistic world is to abolish all nations and and just be one world, be one, community, and declare every resource a commonality of humans. Like we can all survive on this earth together, but it feels like there's a lot of dissension, and politics plays a huge part in that. It feels like they want to tear you apart, whether it's Xbox versus PlayStation, Pepsi versus Coca-Cola, like it's all like
Marvel
a division.
DC.
Literally, there's always like two different ways, and like
Samsung, iPhone. That's a great one too.
right. Like it doesn't have to be overcomplicated. It can be as simple as we need to love another, one another, and provide for our families and teach the new generation the best way to go forward.
Yes, sir, man. That's what it is. Like that everyone should agree with that. You know what I mean?
Yeah, you would think.
Yeah.
But
You too.
egos and power and money and like politics come in the way of that. Like I don't know. It's crazy. Even my parents can't see another way of like, no, the world is just the way it is, and it's always going to be the way it is. And I'm like, well, it hasn't been that way forever. Like history tells us that it's been different. But I don't know. We are humans, and we make mistakes.
Yeah. But we're doing our best.
We're doing yes. Whether it's to like make our family lineage profitable and like powerful for the Rothschilds and all that stuff. But yeah, I digress.
Yeah. We'll appreciate it, man. And like what you're doing is helping everyone. Just like good food, not to win across the board. Where can people find you at IG and on socials?
Midwest Fresh Farms on Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok. I need to get better at TikTok, and I'm gonna start a YouTube page very soon because you've told me YouTube is a very good way to get your name out there and spread the good word. And at Midwest Fresh Farms. I post meals all the time. So if you're looking for like ways to use microgreens, or I do a few recipes on there, we've made coleslaw, we've made a homemade pesto out of sunflowers and basil, micro basil. So there's a plethora of different ways to use microgreens. You can sprinkle them on every single dish, or you can just eat them right out of the box, Like some people do that. It's a lot healthier than eating Pringles,
Yeah, that's what's up. And I'm gonna be out to one of your farmers markets out in IC. So we'll be out there soon.
Appreciate you, buddy.
Yeah, appreciate you, man.
Cheers.
Cheers.